Okay, so just in case somebody didn't hear that, we're just creating a new project, so I'm not sharing. So we're just creating a new project, and we're gonna do that by just going to File, New File. Once you come to this untitled page, you're just gonna do Control S, and it should automatically bring you here, but if not, just go through your C drive into your Python projects and just save it here. I already have mine, so I don't need to make it, but all you're going to do is name it variables and then just save it like that. But right now I already have mine. So as I was saying yesterday, um, variables represent a value or text. They can represent anything, and a variable can be anything. X can be a variable, Y, um, I don't know, hello can be a variable. Anything can be a variable. It just stands for something else. So yesterday, if I open my previous project from yesterday, um over here I have x equals 9 and then print x. So you're gonna ask me, why do I have to do this? Why can't I just do this? Simply, oh sorry, print 9. It essentially does the same thing. So why are variables important? Well, think about if you were coding a video game. Video games have huge code, like lines and lines. They take years to make. And let's say you were using this one variable that you keep using throughout your program. And then let's say all of a sudden something goes wrong and you need to change that. You would have to go through all the lines of code and change it manually. But instead, you can use a variable such as, let's just say, x equals 9. And then we're going to store that, and then you can use that everywhere. But let's say something goes wrong, all you have to do is change the value here. And then the entire program, the value changes. So this might be confusing, but I'm just going to create a simple example. So let's just say animal, or actually, let's just do it without variables so I can show you. So I'm just going to say print, the dog jumped over the rock. Um, you don't have to write all of this down. I'm just gonna give you time later to write your own example. But right now, I just want you to understand, because when you're writing and then trying to understand, it won't work. So right now, just listen and try to understand. And then I'm gonna say print, the dog was 9 years old. And let's just print these two statements. And we know what's gonna happen. It's just gonna print these two. But let's add some more lines. Let's just say print, um, the dog loved to play fetch with its owner. And then we can say, the dog had fun and went on many adventures while he was 9. So essentially, if we print this, it's just going to print all this text. But if you look carefully, there are two main variables that we can use, which is the animal, the dog, and then the age, 9. Because these two variables are going to appear a lot often if you're writing a story. So if we print it, and let's say this was way longer. Let's say I just wanted to change the age. I'd have to go here, change it to 8, go here, change it to 8. And obviously, stories are way, way longer. So we would have to change everything. To fix that, okay, I'm just going to monitor the chat for a minute because I can't see it while. Oh, yeah, the presentation link is in the chat as well as the classroom. Okay, back to this. So let's say we didn't want to manually change it, and it'll just make our lives easier anyway. Let's just say the animal is equal to dog. So right now we're just saying the animal that's running in the background is a dog. Right now it doesn't do anything because we haven't put this anywhere. But right now the animal is just a dog. And we can say the age is equal to 9. Yeah. So right now, even if we put this, this won't do anything. This is just something that we're defining. We're just saying the age is equal to 9 and the animal is a dog. Even if we run this, it's going to run the exact same thing. Nothing's going to happen. This is just being stored in the background. But in order to use this, now this is where it's a bit tricky. So we're going to say print the, we're going to say the, we're going to put a space, and we're going to end the first string. And remember, a string is just text. It's just plain text. We're going to say the, and then we're going to put a plus sign. Plus, and we're going to put another string. We're going to say, or not string, we're going to put the variable. Because instead of putting dog as a string, we're going to put it as the variable. So we're going to say print the plus animal space, and then plus, and we're going to say quotation marks, space, jumped over the rock. So what we're doing, it's going to print the same thing. It's going to print the dog jumped over the rock because the animal is equal to a dog. But what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to change each one. And you'll see why this is going to be important. And we're just going to copy and paste the animal is 9 years old. And then we're actually going to also put in the age because they're two variables. So we're going to end the was, and we're going to say plus the age of the animal. And we're going to say plus, and then years old. So why don't we just stop here for now? Why don't we comment out these lines? So what I mean by commenting out lines is when you put a hashtag next to them, they're no longer in effect. They're just there to tell you something. When you comment out lines, they don't work in the program anymore. It's like they're not there. It's just a way to keep them, but they don't like affect the program at all. It's just like you can put anything in a comment to help you remember what something is or anything. So that's what commenting lines means. They usually turn red or some other color. And let's just run this right now. Just we can move the commented down because we know this isn't gonna come into effect right now. But I'm just gonna run this right now. It's gonna say the dog jumped over the rock and the dog was 9 years old. Okay. There needs to be a space here between 9 and years. So all we're gonna do was right here. Just need to put a space right here. If we run this again, it's going to run the dog jumped over the rock and the dog was 9 years old. But let's say we wanted to change this animal. Let's say a cat. Instead of going all the way here and changing both of these, all you have to do is go up here and change this to cat. And then it'll say the cat jumped over the rock and the cat was 9 years old. And that just makes it easier because all we have to do, we just have to change it once. I'm just going to look at the chat for a second. If you run the program, the hashtag won't be shown. Okay, so the hashtag, just so everyone knows, the hashtag is just, it's very simple. The hashtag just isn't part of the program. I just did this so that I could just show you these two lines. Hashtag just means commenting out the lines, meaning they're no longer there. It would be the same thing as deleting them, but I'm just going to keep them there because we're going to need them later on. That's just what a hashtag does. Is there anything else in the chat? Yeah, so hashtags are just it's like they don't exist. It's just people just use them to replace them with something. Hashtags are yeah. So anyway, as I was saying, if I run this, now it's the cat because I changed this. We can also change the age to, let's say we wanted to say the cat was 6 years old. We could run this and say, now the cat is 6 years old. And if I uncomment these lines, meaning they're into effect again, now these lines, like, they do something. And if I do the same thing here, obviously this will take a while because a lot of copy and pasting, but and then we delete this dog because we already put the animal. We convert this part to a string. Again, we have the animal, and then we're going to put the animal again over here. Say this. And look, right now you see that these have turned yellow. These are just different these are different functions in Python. Just because they're not a string, they've turned yellow because they're different functions. But if I put this, they're just going to turn green because it's a string. So animal, and then this, and then while he was 9. And I'm just going to do I'm going to end this. I'm going to do plus age. And that should work now. So it says the cat jumped over the rock. The cat was 6 years old. The cat left to play fetch with its owner. And the cat had fun and went on many adventures while he was 6. And now, instead of going in and changing every value, all we have to do is change this to, let's say, a bird now. Now, this wouldn't make sense. A bird doesn't play fetch, but let's just do it. Now, this entire thing, I ran the wrong thing. Run module. Now, this entire thing is about a bird who plays fetch, which was 9. So that's how we use variables. Now, that's a lot of information being thrown at you. So you can raise your hand if you don't understand, and like tell me what part you don't understand so that I can explain. Anyone?
So when we're defining two variables for specific reasons, so in the code it will run both of them if we include them.
Yeah, you can have 100 variables, and they'll all run as long as you include them.
Okay.
Defining a variable just means that you've defined it, it's equal to something. But if you don't put it in the actual program, it won't do anything. It'll just run in the background.
Okay. So now let's say I said, so a variable meaning defining a value of something, and then we have to put that value inside our code, right?
Yeah. So
okay.
Variables can be a string, which is text, and they can also be a number. And we're actually going to get into numbers today. Yeah, that's actually what we're going to do next.
But excuse me.
Yeah.
I installed the Python download. I downloaded it, but for some reason, it's only putting the setup. It's only putting modify setup. It says.
Oh, what does it say?
It says modify setup.
Modify.
And when I click, is it okay if I can share my screen and show you what I mean?
Yeah, you can do it quickly as long as I can solve it quick. But today's is mainly. Oh, that just means you're done with the program. That just means you've installed it and you're done.
So where do I open it? I went to the local disk, but I can't find it here.
No, that just means So I'm just gonna explain this pretty quickly. So all you're gonna do, go to the bottom left where you type in stuff to your search. On the bottom where the Windows icon is.
Here.
Yeah, go to your search and type in idle, IDLE. And there it is. You just open it like that.
Run or open?
Open.
Okay.
And then it's open. And then how to create a new project is in there. If you want, you can stay after class a bit to, if you want help. But right now, I'm just gonna move on.
Yes. Thank you.
You're welcome. So what I'm gonna do now is, I'm sure you probably didn't copy the entire thing that I wrote, but
I'll look at the slides. I looked at the slides and listened to you, so I understand what you mean.
okay. So why doesn't everybody here um take 5 minutes to write something similar to what I did? I'll keep my screen shared. I'll share it in a minute, but I'll give you about 5 minutes to write something like this. It doesn't have to be as long, doesn't have to be as complicated. It can be more simple, whatever you want. I just want you to understand what's happening here. So I'll give you about 5 minutes to do that. Actually, yeah.
Uh,
Um so someone was asking about, okay, Vishnu, what's your question?
I accidentally X that out, so the variables thing. So how do I get that back?
So all you do are, you can see my screen, right?
Yeah.
All you do are, you're just gonna type idle over here. IDLE.
Yeah.
I'm gonna open that,
Mm-hmm.
and then, are you with me?
Yes.
Okay. So you're just gonna click file and
Mm-hmm.
then open.
Oh, okay. Now
And then
it's
from here you can go into your C.
okay. Thank you. I got it.
Okay. Okay, so who was just asking about the downloads that needed help with the downloads? I can help you in the meantime.
Me?
Yeah, I
Okay.
think it was.
Yes, it's me. So I just want to know how to save it like last time, and I can't share my screen. So
Okay, one second. Um, guys, on the slides, there's actually, I have all of this on the slide. So if you need to look at the slides, for the people in the call, you can look. I'll give you until like 127 to look and probably make something similar to this. It's all in the slides. In the meantime, I'm just gonna let her share her screen so that I can help her with her down. But it's in the slides, and the slides are in Classroom, and it's in the chat.
here.
Okay, so right now you just want to make a new file, right?
Yes, and I
Okay.
want to save the hello world like you did yesterday.
You don't actually need the hello world because we didn't do that much. Most of it is in here. So you just need to do, all you're gonna do right now is just click Control S,
Okay.
and then it's gonna bring you here. Now, go to your C. Remember where you made your folder? Local disk C? Yeah. Oh, you didn't make a folder yet. Okay, so right click over here, and you're just gonna click New Folder. New Folder. You're gonna name it Python Projects. Okay, and then you have to, what you have to do, click inside there, double click inside there, okay, and now you have to put your file name, and we're just gonna name it variables.
Join without you.
I'll fix it later.
Yeah, okay. That's fine. And once you save that, now I'll share my screen so that you can see what I wrote and you can write something similar. So can you stop sharing? Okay, great. I'm gonna share. So now everyone can see, and you have about 4 minutes left to make something like this. Like again, you don't have to finish it. I just want you to understand how to do this. And if anyone has any questions, you can ask right now. And if anyone's willing to volunteer to share their screen, to show their program, you can do that quickly so that we can see. Vishnu?
So is it okay if I just put like one line? Just a
Yeah,
sentence?
as long as it has some kind of variable in it. You can,
Yeah.
yeah, that's fine.
Could I share it?
Yeah, sure. Let me stop sharing.
Okay. So can you see it?
Yeah.
So I kind of represented like Arnav did. I represented it as I think a different thing. In this case, cat was equal to dog. So I did the same thing, and the cat, as in dog, ran over the bird. So, and if I run the module, it comes the dog ran over the bird.
Yeah, that's perfect actually. Because yeah, the cat is representing dog and then you're inputting that. So that's perfect.
So
That was a
let's
great
say
example.
I have a question. So if I were to say I have a birthday and I want that birthday in a variable. So let's say birthday is equal to April 19th. So then how would I need any space? Would that still run if I had a space in between the April and 19th in the variable?
Um so variables, most of the time they don't use spaces. So if you want to like use a space, you can do an underscore. And if you don't know how to do an underscore, it's just shift the minus sign on your keyboard. And that'll
Okay.
give you an underscore to do
Okay.
two. And for everyone, actually, I'm just gonna show you. Um, so let's say my variable was actually 2 letters. Spaces aren't the proper way to put it. We can just say uh let's let's say hello world was our variable. Hello, and we would just say underscore world. That would be a better way to put it. You can put a space, but it's preferred not to. So that's how you do that.
Yes, got it.
Okay, so everyone should have like something by now, so I'm gonna move on now. So now we're actually gonna move on to numbers. And there are a lot of things you can do with numbers in Python. But right now, I want everyone to just like stop what they're doing with this, and we're gonna make a new file. So again, look at my screen to remember. So all we're gonna do is gonna go to File, New File. And then this comes up as untitled. It's completely blank. You can remove the one behind it. And if this pops up, this is very important. Do you want to save it? Make sure to click yes. Because right now I didn't save this, but this will always pop up if you didn't save it. So make sure to click yes. Okay. So now I am here. Um, I made a new file. I'm gonna click Control S. And I'm gonna save this inside my folder. And it's gonna be called why don't we just call it numbers or working with numbers, whatever you want to call it. Working with numbers. And I'm gonna save this. So now I have a new project. Um, okay. So numbers aren't very complicated in Python. Uh, Python, so mostly numbers are not the same thing as strings. So as I told you before, strings are just anything in a quotation, and it's just like random text like hello, hi, whatever. This is so strings are random text. Numbers, you can put a number in a string. For example, you can put the number 9 in a string. That'll still work if you print it. You can also print it as an integer. So what is an integer for the people that don't know? So let's just say I'm printing the number 9 as a string, meaning this is text. If I run this, it's going to print the number 9. But let's say I just removed these and I just said 3. Since it's a number, it's not going to give me an error message because Python recognizes these as numbers. So 3. And the more, these are actually called integers. This is a more formal term for them in coding. So integers, these are called integers. Any number in Python is called an integer. That doesn't have a string. That doesn't have quotation marks around it. If it has quotation marks, it's automatically a string. But if it doesn't, it's just an integer. So let's just say we just typed in hello with and this isn't a number. This is supposed to be a string or it's supposed to be a variable, but it's none of those. So Python's actually going to give us an error message. And it's going to say name hello is not defined. And that's expected because we haven't defined what hello means. And if we just wanted to print this out, we would just do quotation marks and make this into a string. But right now, we're working with numbers. So in Python, there's this function called import. And this isn't actually related to math. This is just something we have to do before. So import math. So what this is, math is just a module in Python which contains information that tells Python how to perform certain operations. Python can perform addition, subtraction, multiplication on its own without importing this. But certain things, you might not know these operations, but depending on what grade you're in, but you might have learned about absolute values, square root. Python needs this import math to do this. So we're just going to import it. And this is a module. So what I'm going to do right now is that I'm going to use the hashtags that I told you about. And I'm going to say, you can write anything to help remember, but we can just say a module needed to perform certain operations. So that's what import math is. It's not related to math or anything. It's just something you need to import beforehand. So Python can do addition. So we can say print 4 plus 3. And it's going to give us 7. It can also do subtraction. It can do 4 minus 3. When we run this, it'll give us 1.
And so we don't need quotation marks for these?
We don't. And that's because Python knows that these are numbers and it already has like how to do math in its system. So quotation marks again are only for text. It's just plain text. Those are called strings. So Python can do subtraction, Python can do division. And the keyboards don't have division signs, they have this slash sign. And that's what the division sign is. So 4 divided by 3, obviously this isn't actually it's gonna give us 1.3, that's correct. But let me do a more common, 4 divided by 2. The answer is going to be 2, and we know that because that's simple math.
And so let's say you wanted to print like the actual name print. You want to print it like many times. Instead of doing control C and like putting it in every line, what would you do in Python module?
If you wanted to put like lots of print lines,
Yeah, instead of writing them out.
oh well, um, copy and pasting is like the only way right now. It's just the simplest way. You're just gonna go here, Control C, copy and paste, Control V, and then Control V, Control V. There's nothing simpler than that. That's just how it is. So, because Python is a
Sorry,
simple
can you please
language.
say that again? Sorry, I didn't hear you properly. Can you please say that again?
Yeah. So you were asking, what if you don't want to write out all these print statements?
Mm-hmm.
Well, unfortunately, you're gonna kind of have to either copy and paste or write them out. It's just the way Python works.
Oh, so
So,
you can copy and paste here?
yeah, you can copy and paste. It's the same
Oh,
thing.
okay, got it. And you know how in spreadsheets, they would, after a specific number, when they click enter, something would enter. Is that kind of the same in Python?
Can you repeat that?
Yeah, so you know in spreadsheets, when you write a certain number or an equation that you want to solve, and when you click enter, it would enter like the answer or
Yeah,
number.
it's just gonna put a new line in Python. It's just gonna
Okay.
put a new line. That's what
And
enter
here,
does.
for import, we always have to have import if we want to do, if we want to run math on Python module, right?
So actually, let's just remove math. And math is just something, it's used, you only import math when you're doing something very complex. People won't really use Python for math because Python is a simple language. But if you're doing complex things, the math module will be helpful because Python might not be able to perform certain things. I don't know if you know like absolute value, square root, stuff like that, but Python needs the math module to perform those.
Yeah.
You don't need to worry about that right now. That's like
Yes.
nothing.
Yeah. And one last thing. So when you put a hashtag, you meant that as a comment?
Yeah, you're just commenting it. Basically, if I hashtag this, it's the same as if it was just not there. Like if I delete this, it would be the same thing.
Okay,
Like
got
let's just run this. It won't do anything.
it. Okay.
It's just gonna bring me here. Nothing will happen.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Um, it can do multiplication, and multiplication is used by the star sign. It's shift number 8 to get this. It's on top of number 8, and this is going to do multiplication. Um, what it can also do is Python can do powers. So this is something that some of you might not know. Um, give me a second. Okay. Um, yeah. So, are there any questions? Because this might be pretty confusing. Yeah,
Yes, I have one more
Nandini,
question.
or uh,
I have one more question.
okay.
So you know where you have you know where can you put variables inside math? Like can you define math inside a variable?
Um, define math inside of variable.
So for example, I say variable is the math is equal to 4 times 9 or something like that. Could I then when I enter that math, would that define 4 times 9 the answer?
Yeah, that would.
Okay,
Math, but that's just going to be again a variable. A variable can be anything.
okay.
So that's that. Are there any other questions?
Thank you.
Nandini had a question, if I remember, but
So could we, does it work with exponents?
exponents. Yeah, actually there are exponents. So that's what I mean by like powers. So if we do, let's just do this. So now this isn't multiplication anymore. Now this is gonna raise 4 to the second power. So that's an exponent. That's how you use exponents. So 4 to the second power. That's gonna be 16. Again, some of you might not know what like powers are, but for the people who know it, that's how you do that. And Python can also do order of operations. Now, again, people might not know this, but order of operations is the order in which operations are performed. So we can just say print 4 plus 3 times 2. What this is going to give us, it's going to do 3 times 2 first and then plus 4. So it should give us 10, and that's correct. Okay, so that's order of operations. And it can do other functions. I'm just not going to go deep into them because we're not going to be using them, but I'll just state them pretty quickly. So absolute value is another function. If you know what it is, to do absolute value, you just do ABS and then the number you want to do. And then you run this or, okay, sorry, I need over here is a parentheses. If I run this, it runs absolute value. So 4. And lastly, we can do square root. So we can say print math dot sqrt, that's square root, and then we can say number inside 25. That'll do that. But as I told, what just happened there? Okay. As I told you before, now this is where the math module comes in. So when we import math, Python needs math to run this. I'm not sure why they did that, but Python just needs math to run this specific function. And that'll give us 5. So that's just working with numbers. That's just pretty simple. We won't be using numbers that much. Not that complex, but it's just good to know. So what we're gonna actually, any questions before I move on? I can't actually see your hands when they're raised. So why don't you can shout out questions in the call. Just shout them out. I can only see a limited number of people. So
Can you hear me?
yeah, I can hear you.
So wait, so why did you put another a closed bracket over there?
Over here?
Yeah.
So the reason I did that is because, so why don't I erase this? I'm going to say print and open bracket. Each open bracket needs to have a closed bracket with it. This actually needs to be here. And since we have to use math to do this, we're actually going to, we need 2 brackets. That's just how Python works. There's no specific reason, but it's just something that people know in Python. So math dot square root, which is SQRT, the abbreviation for square root. And then we have to say the number that we square root. And to do this, we put another open bracket. We say, I don't know, the number 25. Close the first bracket, and then close the outside one, the second one. That's why we have 2 at the end. Okay, good. So we're good with numbers now. So our last topic for today is going to be more in depth with strings. They're just simple things you can perform with strings, different things such as how to do uppercase, lowercase, anything like that. Oh yeah, are there any questions before I move on? Like any questions for numbers, variables, anything? Okay, that's fine. Um, Now we're gonna create our third project of the day. This is our last one. And we're gonna do file, new file, and again, this is so make sure to save your numbers one. Also, I didn't write the entire thing. I didn't keep writing print statements just because it would be confusing. But they're all on the slides in case you forget. So I'm just gonna save this. I'm gonna open this. This is untitled. Gonna do Control S, and I'm gonna save it in my local disk. And I'm gonna call this working with okay working with strings.
Working with what?
Strings. So strings. Again, strings are just text. So do you need an explanation on what strings are, or were you just asking what the project name was? Um
I was only asking for the project name.
okay, that's fine. Well, I'm gonna explain strings anyway. Okay. So everyone needs to know what a string is. A string is just text. You can put anything inside a string. So we know what a string is. And we can perform different functions with strings. So we can say, let's just say x is equal to hello. And then we can say underneath that print, and we can say x dot upper. So this function makes the variable x in uppercase. You can also do lowercase, but notice that I have these two parentheses. There's nothing inside them. That just needs to be at the end of this upper. So that's that. It's x equals hello, print x dot upper. So essentially, it should print the word hello in uppercase. And here it is, all caps, all uppercase. So I'm gonna comment these out, and I'm gonna go to the next function with strings.
Something's wrong.
Yeah, what happened?
When I write that down,
Mm-hmm.
then it gives me an error.
Do you know what error it gives you?
It says this.
How about you share your screen so that I can see?
Okay. Here. It shows that. And then
Oh, okay, so is did you create a new project?
well, yeah, it says working with strings.
Oh, okay. Why don't you go back, exit out of the run terminal? Oh, this is your project, right? Why don't you just, mm, run- oh, you didn't define your variable. You didn't define your variable. You did x dot upper, but you didn't tell us what x was. So that's what you didn't do.
So then what I have to do?
So why don't you stop sharing and look at my screen?
Okay. Hold on. Yeah, okay.
Okay. So I defined the letter x. You have to define what x is because Python thinks x is a variable. You can't just like put anything random here. You have to tell us what x is equal to and then print the Does one of you talk for a second?
Can you hear us?
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay,
Before I
okay.
couldn't.
That's fine. I don't know why there was a problem, but I'm just gonna monitor the chat for a second. Okay. So everyone can hear me fine, right? Okay, good. I can see. I'm gonna share again. And these lines are just
You
commented.
are very. You're
One sec.
You're laggy. Your voice is like blurring out, and I can't hear you that properly. No, he's still here. I think he's trying to figure out.
Hear me now?
Yes.
You can hear me? Oh, it's lagging. Okay, give me a second.
It's like still very laggy and slow. It's like delayed.
Hello?
Yeah?
Yeah, hi.
Just give me a minute, okay, guys? I'm turning on
Okay.
hotspot. I should be okay now, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Um, okay. I'm gonna reshare my screen.
Maybe you should turn your camera off.
If it gets to the point where it's like too, is it still like laggy for you guys? If it's laggy, then I can turn it off. But if it's fine, then I'm very laggy. Okay. Here, I'll turn it off for a minute, and I'll continue from there. Okay. I'll share my screen. Okay, so as I was saying, so there's x dot upper, which prints. One second, there's someone saying something in the chat. Am I still breaking up? Um, if it's workable, then and you can kind of understand it, then it's fine because we only have a few minutes left in class anyway. So why don't we just work with it for a second? Okay. I'll reshare. So there we can make it into uppercase. Now we can also do lower. So if I copy and paste the same thing, but actually I'm gonna uncomment these lines. And if I say x dot lower now, lower, since this is already lower, I'm just gonna put it in caps lock so that you can see that it works. So hello. X dot lower, it'll just make it lowercase. So now there's something called \n. So what this does is \n just makes a new line. So let's say you were printing something and you wanted a line between it. Let's say they were two words and you just wanted a line. So we can say hello. Oh, I didn't make a string, caps lock off. Hello world. Right? And then we can do \n, and it's going to create a new line. And then hello and then world. So that's what that does. From there, we can also do a true or false statement in Python. So we can ask Python, is something uppercase or is something lowercase? And true or false statements are super, super common in any type of coding language. So you can say x is equal to hello world. Hello world. And we can say print x dot is upper. If something's wrong, guys, you can just shout it out because I can't monitor the chat while I'm sharing. So if a question or anything's wrong, just shout it out.
When I did print hello \world, it put them together.
I'll stop sharing and you can share yours.
Do you see it?
Yeah, I can see your screen, but you're not on the.
Okay.
But you didn't put the word N. You didn't put, I mean, the letter N. You have to put the letter N after the backslash.
Letter what?
The letter N. N as in, or, yeah, perfect. Now it should work. Okay. So what we can do is we can ask Python if this is uppercase. So let's just say x is equal to hello. We can ask it, is it uppercase? And Python is going to return a true or false statement. In this case, it should return false. Here, it returns false because hello is in all lowercase. Now, if we put this in uppercase, and this, it would give us a true statement. And that's how you can ask Python true or false statements, and it'll return either of those. And now what you can do is, let's say you want to make this upper and then ask Python whether it is. So we can say x dot upper, do this, and then we ask Python dot is upper. And then we close this and the whole thing. So now what this is gonna do, so an important thing to know is that in Python, it executes the code line by line and like letter by letter, left to right. As soon as something goes wrong or anything happens, it'll just tell us where the error is. So over here, it's just gonna convert this into uppercase first, and then it's gonna ask Python, is it upper? So it should return a true statement. True. Now, if we just did x dot lower, it's already in lowercase, but if we did that, it would give us false because we're saying make it lowercase and then ask if it's uppercase. That's going to be false. We can also check how many characters are in the text. So we can say print length of x. Print the length of x. And it should give us 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It should give us 5. 5.
because in the word hello, there are 5 characters. And we're printing the length of x, a variable that holds the word hello. And in Python, there's something called a, it's called, it's called a, sorry, 1 second. So what we're gonna do x equals hello world. And each letter, or in Python, there's something called an index. And an index is basically it's related to numbers, and it's how, it's what letter is relative to what number. So instead of doing it right now, I'm just gonna explain to you what it is. So the index of hello world. In Python, the first number is 0. The first number is not 1, it's just 0. So the index of the letter H in hello world will be 0. E will be 1, L will be 2, the second L will be 3, and O will be 4. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. The space also counts because it's a character. So this will be the fifth character, and the index of the space will be 5. And the session is nearing an end, so I'm gonna explain the index in more depth tomorrow since we didn't get to it today. But are there any questions besides the index? Because I'll explain that tomorrow since we didn't get to it. Yeah, Vishnu.
Is there by any possible way you can like send this recording maybe to the classroom so we can like I can go over it and just and tell about it tomorrow?
So actually, what I do is I download these, and if there's a way, I'll probably upload it. If not, you can like email me or something like that. But if I am going to upload it, it's going to be uploaded before 4 p.m. to the classroom. But if it's not, by any chance something goes wrong, just like email me or something. My email is on the classroom.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Yash.
Can you send some codes so we can test it out?
You want codes?
Yeah, you can send examples you can send
Functions.
functions and examples so we can test them out and learn.
Yeah, so on the slides that are posted for day 2, if you they're not in the chat anymore since there's a lot of stuff in the chat. In fact, I'll just repost it in the chat, but it's also on Classroom, and they're actually what we did in class is over there. All of it is there. And there's also a text version of it. So you can copy and paste if you want to see what works. And I'll just put it in the chat right now because slides, share, copy. So the link is in the chat for everyone to the slides. If you have parental controls on your device, it might not let you. So just ask your parents to maybe take them off for the time being or something. But that's what that is. Those are the slides. So any last questions? Okay. Have a great day, everyone. Bye.
Bye. Thank you for teaching.
Can you also
Have a
send
great
extra
day.
homework?
The homework. So what I want you to do, I'm not gonna give any formal homework, but what I want you to do is practice and understand what I did. And all the information is on the slides. I have examples, I have bullets explaining what it is. I have the result of it. So everything's on there. Okay.
Okay, then bye.
Bye. I'm gonna end the meeting now.